So let's look at how this applies to Java itself. What is an annotation in Java? What is this structure? It's basically just a data holding class. It's implemented in Java as a kind of a class, and that class has some data. It might have different pieces of data depending on what kind of annotation it is. If we thought about that annotation on that sticker, it said sign and date. So maybe that annotation would have a signature and a date to it. Annotations are basically a collection of some data that you're going to use to describe some code that's in your Java class. So these annotations can be applied in various places in your code. They could be applied to classes, to fields, to methods, and they can even be applied at single statement levels. In general, you're going to see annotations at maybe a class level or a method level. That's probably the most common. And in order to use an annotation in Java, you're basically just going to put that annotation before the declaration of the thing that it annotates. So I have an example of some syntax here. You can see annotations start with this @ symbol, and here I've got an annotation for suppressing warnings. And this annotation will tell the compiler that this particular warning needs to be suppressed for this line of code. So you can see that we have an @ symbol, we have the name of the annotation, and then in our parentheses here, we fill in the values or the data for the annotation. This one happens to have a piece of data called value that we're setting equal to deprecation. Annotation could have multiple data fields in here that you could set, and if there's only one, you could omit this value equal part, and we could just put deprecation in here. But that's the basic idea of an annotation. You would just put this line of code before a line of code that you wanted this annotation to apply to. And if you did this at the class level, you'd put it right before the class declaration. The same thing for a method. So this is basically how you would create an annotation in Java, and we're going to actually get into the code and see how to do this in a little bit.